Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. Hope everybody is well today. Sunday evening, 7:35 p.m. Another live stream looking at some of the news that has caught my attention over the weekend here from Spain. Also, some of the comments that were left on videos recently. We'll have a look at some of those also, and we'll go into the chat section and see what's happening there. Now, first piece of news, this one here today. Spain will face the mildest recession among the major Eurozone countries. The economic forecasts for Spain are beginning to paint a less tense 2023 than expected. The Funcas panel forecasts economic growth of 4.5% for 2022 and 1.1% for next year. Specifically, the data collected by the entity suggests that Spain will narrowly avoid technical recession in the first quarter of 2023, although it opens the door to a subtle contraction of the economy during the initial stretch of the year, which would be added to the fall in GDP in the last quarter. The Spanish economy is likely to enter a mild recession in the second quarter, says Juan Ángel Lafuente, professor of financial economics and accounting at the Jaume I or the First University, wherever that is. So, some good news there to start the live stream today. Spain will face the mildest recession among the Eurozone countries. Other countries are starting to go into recession, of course. Spain still growing. Next year is going to be the tricky question. But according to Funcas, which is a think tank here, an economic think tank here in Spain, which is run by one of the banks or one of the former cajas or savings banks, predicting that a mild recession possibly for Spain next year. So in line with what the Prime Minister is saying. So we're not going to get slapped like we did back in 2008 through to 2014, where we had the Great Spanish Depression back for those 6 years, where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong with the Spanish economy. But a mild recession, good news for many. Now, next piece of news. Hugh Elliott, the ambassador, the UK ambassador here in Spain, says that the sticking points in the UK-Spain driving licence agreement are resolved. The British ambassador to Spain, Hugh Elliott, has announced that an agreement has been reached on the 2 points that were holding up the bilateral deal that will allow residents in Spain, including the Canary Islands, to exchange their UK driving licences for Spanish ones without having to take a driving test. We have made a significant step forward, said the ambassador in the video posted on the Brits in Spain Facebook page, explaining that the two outstanding complex issues that had been holding up the deal have been resolved. Elliott went on to explain, however, that there are still numerous steps the process has to go through before UK licence holders can get back on the roads, including securing ministerial approval on both sides and the necessary treaty processes and formal exchanges, adding that he was unable to say how many weeks that process will take. So, some good news there that the licence agreement has been resolved between the two countries, which, as we know, has been dragging on for a fair while. They thought they were going to have it done before the summer. Didn't happen. And now the 20th of November, finally an agreement has been made. But as we saw, the ambassador there saying that it could take weeks until it becomes formal. Has to be published in the official state gazette here in Spain, and no doubt the British government also has to do something at their end. But a matter of time, I would say. Weeks, maybe a month, who knows exactly, because with these things, you never know what's going to happen. And the 20th of November, next month here in Spain, December, is a month basically where nothing gets done except for Christmas celebrations, because we've got public holidays at the beginning of the month. There's 2 public holidays at the beginning of the month. Some people will take the whole week off, go traveling. Then we've got Christmas, which normally kicks in around the 20th of December, and that's going to go all the way through until the 6th of January. So that first Monday after the 6th is when people start getting back to normal. So if they haven't got something done in the next few days, December, as I said, is a tough month. But you never know. You never know. Maybe in the week or two when people are actually working, something will get done. Let's hope. Let's hope. For the sake of people that haven't been able to drive for quite a while now, which is a serious inconvenience for a lot of people. And we've seen some of the stories of people that live in remote parts of Spain, not necessarily in the cities. Because of course, if you live in a city, you've always got public transport options, but people that live more remotely in some smaller villages, towns, mountain areas that aren't able to drive, a serious inconvenience for a lot of people. So some good news there, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy. Now, third piece of news, let's get through the news. Home sales recorded their best September in 15 years, with 57,333 transactions, up 6.9%. Home sales rose by 6.9% year on year in September to 57,333 transactions, its highest figure for a September since 2007, when the number of sales exceeded 61,700, according to the National Statistics Institute. The year-on-year increase in housing sales and purchases in September was the result of a 10.7% rise in transaction on used homes to 47,279 sales and purchases, as transactions on new flats fell by 7.8% year-on-year, their largest decline since July 2020, and 10,000 transactions. With September's rise, the purchase of flats has now been on the rise for 19 consecutive months. However, the growth in transactions has moderated by 8 points, compared with the year-on-year increase in August, when they rose by 14.9%. So there we go. The housing market here in Spain still buoyant. We'll see what it's like next year, of course, but 19 consecutive months with flat or apartment purchases on the rise. So a pretty buoyant, as I said, real estate sector at the moment in this country, which is good news for it. If you are in the property market looking to buy or sell, it might be a good time for you to do so. Now, the fourth piece of news, this one here. The Canary Islands attracts companies from all over the world due to its tax advantages, connectivity, and quality of life. Let's not forget the quality of life aspect. More than 700 national and international companies have already set up in the Canary Islands. The islands have become one of the most attractive destinations in Europe for innovation projects in emerging sectors such as offshore wind power, aeronautics and aerospace, as well as technological developments in the audiovisual and animation sector. Among the tax advantages offered by the islands are the reduced corporate tax rate of 4% and incentives for R plus D plus I, or R&D and I, and technological innovation of up to 45%. The Canary Islands government wants talent to be generated because the most important thing is to ensure that companies do well. They are attracted by the quality of life experienced in the islands. More than 12,000 jobs have already been created in highly innovative companies with highly qualified personnel. So there we go, the Canary Islands attracting companies from all over the world. Tax advantages, good connections down there, internet connections, I imagine, and quality of life, which is very important. And in a place like the Canaries, as we know, where that weather is good 12 months of the year, I would say. Maybe you get a couple of weeks throughout the year, maybe a month throughout the year where it's not perfect, but for the rest of the time, everybody that I know that has gone to live in the Canary Islands, very happy with their decision. And of course, the background that we have at the moment are some of these spectacular views that you can get in that part of Spain, of course. All right, word of the day time. Considering that we are in the middle of a World Cup, or World Cup just starting, I should say, esguince, sprain. For example, an ankle sprain where you, or maybe you tear the ligaments, sprain. Gaia, who's a football player in the Spanish team, uno de tus sueños se va al traste por un esguince leve. One of your dreams is shattered by a slight sprain. So Gaia is out of the World Cup because of a sprain, esguince, and that's the word of the day. So if you are here in Spain and you suffer an ankle sprain or a wrist sprain, esguince is the word. See if I can get my tongue around that word, esguince. There we go. Now the first comment for today, this one here from Kathleen. Thank you for the very informative information, Stu. There is still a lot of helpful, kind people who give up their time to help others. Yes, Kathleen, absolutely. We saw yesterday, I published a video about an initiative run by a charity here in Spain called Age in Spain, and they're organising a Good Neighbour Award. If you live here in Spain and you've got somebody that you would like to nominate for this Good Neighbour Award, You can do that on their website, and there's a prize involved. I think there's a couple of prizes involved. One of the prizes, the main prize, is a dinner for two in the city of choice where you live. And also you might get official confirmation, I think, from the British ambassador, who's apparently going to pull a name out of a hat, I think. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but it is important to have a good network of friends or neighbours here in Spain, just in case something happens as we get older, which is the case for a lot of us. That we need to have those support networks in place. And for people that don't, Age in Spain does offer a fantastic service. You can get in contact with them if you've got any doubts or queries about residency, driving licenses, and all of these things, and other issues related to health. They can help you out. And but as I said, if you've got a good neighbour that you would like to nominate, maybe somebody in your urbanización, maybe somebody in your bloque de apartamentos, who has given you a hand to do something or has helped you out in the past, you can nominate them for the Good Neighbour Award Spain 2022. ageinspain.com or .es, not quite sure, but either one of the two, Age in Spain. All right, Julie. Hi, Stu. As a Canadian citizen, I had no problems at all getting my NIE number in September 2022 when purchasing my home in Valencia province. Of course, this was accomplished in Oliva, Valencia. It took a week, so I guess it's where you are applying. Perhaps going to a smaller town is the charm. It worked for me. Yeah, not sure, Julie, exactly if there are differences between big places and small places when it comes to getting this number. I don't think I had any problems getting it back in the day. I think it was a fairly straightforward process. Getting the card was a little bit, the physical plastic card was a little bit different, because obviously they have to make it, prepare it, and things like that. Another appointment. Getting the actual number, I think, was easier, and with the number I was able to open a bank account fairly easily and things like that. So thanks for the input, but there might be a difference if you do it in a small place or in a big place. Obviously, big places, there might be more longer queues, but you would think they would have more staff in big places rather than small, but I don't know. But anyway, thanks. All right, now another comment here. Let's have a look. From Gloria. As the cost of living increases but wages remain the same, it's a global issue. People have to rethink starting a family. I am number 9 of 10 kids. My parents were able to purchase a home, feed, clothe, and insure us all on my father's income alone. Of course, this was in the 70s. That's not the reality nowadays. Yeah, this was related to a piece of news that we saw the other day about the fact that Spain's birth rate continues to decline for the third year in a row. People are just choosing not to have children, basically, and there were a lot more deaths than births or something the other day, according to the Statistics Institute. And the average size family here in Spain, I think, is not even one child if you do the average across the whole population. Whereas, back in the 50s and 60s, people had big families here, like some people did in the States. My father comes from a big family. There were 6 kids in that family. So in Australia, after the Second World War, it was also common for people to have big families. But of course, that's also on the decline in countries like Australia as well. But people that do have kids in Australia, all of my cousins, my sister's got 3, all of my cousins seem to have 2 or 3 kids. So people have bigger families than here. Here, you'll meet a lot of people with 1, maybe 2, but not many more than that, unless they're very religious and belong to a certain religious order. Then you'll see big families still, where people are having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. I know I met one family a couple of years ago that had 12 kids, and in the news every now and again you see these big families here. I think the record's like 16 or 17 kids, but very, very rare. Even less than 1 nowadays is the average, because people prefer to do other things, I imagine. And also the social conditions here in Spain are completely different. People get into the labour market late. People can't get onto the property ladder, so all of those things contribute. And when a lot of people get a partner and want to start a family, they can't because of health issues or biological issues and things like that. So all of those things mean that here in Spain, not many people are having kids anymore. And it is a trend, but as Gloria points out there, back in the 70s, you only needed one income per family, and people seem to get by, whereas nowadays, even with two salaries coming in, a lot of people just don't get by. So times have changed, and mortgages were, the time for mortgages back in the 70s as well. I remember hearing stories of people that had mortgages for 10, 12, 15 years, and now 30, 35, 40. So the conditions have changed, of course, and people preferring to do other things like travel and enjoy life rather than starting families. But a topic for another day. So I'm going to cut the live stream short. Thanks everybody for your participation today watching the video. Thanks everybody for participating in the chat section. Thanks for the super chat from Alan before. Greatly appreciated. I'll see everybody on Tuesday again for another live stream. Hasta luego. Adios. Hasta entonces. Bye-bye.